Alright guys, welcome back to another Omnia video where you are about to watch a fun collaboration that I did with 40, the BroadwaySaiyan. It was such a fun time doing this collaboration. We had this in the works for a good while now, and we finally had the opportunity to work together on this fun collab for y'all. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. This is a top LD calls that we use whenever we are playing DFFOO. So hopefully this was fun and enjoyable for you to watch, and a big thank you to 40 once again for wanting to do this awesome collaboration, and hopefully to do more in the future. So anyways, if you did enjoy it, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for future content, subscribe to 40, and other than that, enjoy the video, and I will catch y'all in the next one.
What's up, everybody? 40 the BroadwaySaiyan here, and today I am joined by a special friend of mine, Simply Lost. Simply Lost, can you tell our viewers who you are, what kind of games you play, and what you're all about, brother?
Oh man, well, appreciate you having me, man. I am a streamer. I am a YouTuber that plays DFFOO. I've been recently playing a lot of the Final Fantasy games. I've been playing a lot of 14, just got into 12. I've been doing so much, man, and just recently started doing YouTube content. And, well, here we are. We're going to be talking about something very, very, very nice that will help out a lot of players later on in the future.
Indeed, it's great to have you, bro. That's right, man. Your YouTube has been blowing up recently, and I really love seeing your uploads and all the new videos that you've been putting out. It's pretty amazing. So, guys, in the video description, as well as the pinned comments, I'm going to be leaving all the social links for Simply Lost. Be sure to check him out, show him some love. He is a fantastic streamer, and he is also a fantastic content creator who just loves this game and just loves to help out the community. So, the topic that we're going to be covering in this collaboration is top 5 LD calls. Now, we are both basing this on our experience from the JP side, so then that way those of you that play global and have that foresight and want, like, you know specific opinions on certain LD calls can kind of have like a generalized idea on which LD weapons you may want to consider pulling for, because those specific calls can actually really come in handy. Lost, do you have anything that you want to add to that regarding these LD calls?
Yeah, like these LD calls, like, this is, again, this is our personal opinions. This is what we like to use from time to time, depending on how the Lufenia fight is, how things go, what shenanigans you're gonna have to deal with. There's so many options to LD calls, and there's nothing wrong with having a variety, because you never know that one LD call that you may not be using could actually come in handy months ahead. So I mean, these LD calls that we're going to talk about is ones that we have used and continue to use, and I mean, hey, they've been a great help, and this is why we're doing this video, to try to help you, to kind of give you an idea of like, hey, maybe I should consider using this one, or maybe I should consider picking up that one.
For sure. And, hopefully there's going to be 2 lists that you guys are going to be seeing. There's going to be a top 5 from Simply Lost, and then a top 5 from me. And we're going to, be introducing them one by one. So, Simply Lost, do you want to start with your number 5, or do you want me to start with my number 5? Up to you, bro.
Sure, we can start off with number 5.
Sure.
Well, number 5. With mine. Sure. Alright, so first one we're going to be talking about is going to be Rosa's LD call. And like, I know you may be wondering, like, Rosa, out of all the LD calls is going on right now? Well, there's a few things about this one mainly. I mean, her regular call is pretty useful because you get a nice little free revive. And at this point right now in JP Lufenia fights, reviving, it's not hurtful to us anymore. That's something they recently changed up. But with her LD call, though, the field effects that you get from it is you get a Brave damage dealt up, a gained Brave overflow limit up, stolen Brave overflow limit up, and you get a small HP damage dealt up of 5%, which is nothing crazy, but it's something. Anything that is able to help you out for any type of Brave reduction, Brave gain, etc., anything, as long as it's something, it will help you out. So that's why I chose Rosa's call as my number 5.
She's definitely really useful. I mean, you get all those effects rolled into a call that is applicable to the whole party. And as we know, Brave damage up, HP damage up is just something very useful that your party can capitalize on, especially once we start seeing even more and more reduction, which is a thing in Lufenia and later on Lufenia Plus. Having this call can come in handy. And to my recollection, she heals your HP too when you use her LD call, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Which is about time, because Rosa wasn't healing HP for some reason on her initial release except with her EX. And I was always really confused by that. So Yeah. Well, we're gonna go ahead and talk about my number 5, which is actually gonna be the baked beans LD. So it makes your characters go toot toot toot. I'm sorry, guys. This is an inside joke. I had to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know about this, so I mean.
I'm just, I just had to throw that in there. No, sorry. Jokes aside, my number 5 is actually going to be 2 LDs because I find a lot of value with both Jack's LD call and Kurasame's LD call. Jack LD is so good because, you know, he uses his piercing gleam. The highlights are he's going to be inflicting break on that target. So if that target has like a bajillion brave, 99,000 brave, it doesn't matter. He's just going to break them. And then he's going to inflict that blade wound debuff level 1 on all targets. And remember, every time they take damage, it's going to increase up to 5 stacks. And it's like a huge defense down and also brave damage up. And then Kurasame, when he gets his LD call, which is going to be happening during his Lost Chapters when Global gets that, he's going to be using his Absolute Zero. This time, it's going to be granting the party an attack up, stolen brave overflow up, ice enchant and ice weakness damage up, or elemental weakness damage up, which is very, very useful. And then afterwards, he's also going to be inflicting level 2 Hyoro, which is his debuff that every time the stacks increase, the target is going to be taking more HP damage. So I had to put these two together just because I use them so often in a more like, you know, offensive type of a party comp. And for me, I think they fit the slot of number 5. What are your thoughts on this, Lost?
All I can say is it smells very spicy in here with those 2 LD calls together. No, yeah, I mean Jack's LD call. It's the reasons why many of us content creators were pushing his LD call because of how useful it is even up till now, and like it's just crazy good. You know, yeah, you might have to deal with some cleansing here and there with bosses, but that's typical in JP4 at this point. But it's always about timing. Timing is definitely the number one thing when using LD calls, which is why 40 still chose, and even myself, chose Kurasame and Jack's LD call as 40's number 5.
Sounds good. Yeah, they're definitely both very useful from an offensive approach. So I guess we're going to go ahead and move on to our number 4. So what spicy LD do you have for number 4 for your calls, Lost?
Well, if Ash is going to be watching this video, which hopefully he does, we are going to go with Ash. Ash's LD call is a very good LD call, and it's similar to a lot of the enchant/imperil LD calls for many reasons, because she inflicts a thunder resist down and a holy resist down, and they are both framed. The field effects from her LD call is Stolen Brave Overflow limit up for the party 10%, Elemental Weakness damage dealt up, which we just recently saw with the twins BT effect, 30%, HP regen, Thunder Enchant, and Holy Enchant. And, you know, at this point right now in Lufenia, or Lufenia Plus, any type of enchant is such a good convenience to have, especially, again, against Brave Reduction, Brave Gain, and all the all this crap that we got out people dealing right now.
I totally agree, man. Because, you know, having this is 2 enchants and 2 imperils that you're getting from this LD call. And then not to mention the survivability that it provides with the HP regen, and then the elemental weakness damage dealt up, and as well as a stolen brave overflow. Anytime you're bringing a party member that, let's say, like is known for high damage output. Let's say, for example, later down the line, Tifa gets her really, really powerful LD call where she deals like, you know, 700k damage on average. But let's say melee damage is resisted. Well, you could just throw on the Ash LD call, and there you go. You apply the elements to your party with the enchant, you apply the imperil, and then your Tifa is going to be hitting like a truck. So very, very useful. I like how you chose her as your number 4, simply.
She's very spicy.
Very spicy indeed. So my number 4, I actually went with an FF11 representative, which is Eroja, which is going to be a character that Global will be seeing later on. Eroja will be using her LD skill when you call her Rise from the Ashes. The highlights that I really like about this LD call is, first of all, she recovers 50% HP to the party, so that's always nice, having that nice burst heal. And then the party effects that she grants is, check this out, Party attack up, brave damage dealt up, and stolen brave overflow up. But then it doesn't stop there. So Eroja has a very unique effect that is part of her kit and also part of this LD call. So whenever a party member uses an HP attack, it's going to reduce the brave consumed by 20%, but the HP damage is not impacted. So let's say, for example, you do an HP attack of, I don't know, 1,000, right? So it's going to reduce the brave that's consumed, but you're still going to deal 1,000 damage. So it's going to, how much is that going to take off? Like, was that 250, 200? So it's going to reduce that brave consumed by 200, but you're still dealing damage. So what it does is it provides your character a very huge amount of clutch. So then that way, when you're HP dumping, if that character doesn't have any type of way to brave refund themselves or something like that after doing an HP attack, this is going to save them from that, because it's going to allow them to still hold on to some brave even after they've dealt an HP attack, which is why I put her at number 4. Simply, thoughts on Eroja? I believe you have her too, but what do you think about this one?
I actually like her LD call. I love the fact that you were able to get all of that brave back even after every HP attack that you do. It's actually a very convenient LD call that I feel like some really look upon the wrong way. I really feel like it's a convenient LD call to be using for future fights. I actually enjoy it. It's a very good choice.
For sure. So, yeah, that's going to be our number 4s. And now we're going to be moving on to our number 3. Simply, who is your number 3 LD call?
Oh, man, I think it's somebody that that definitely knows the definition of spicy. And it's going to be Bart. So Bart himself, Bart with his LD call is actually a rather useful one in tight situations, or it really just depends on said Lufenia fights, because there has been a few Lufenia fights where his LD call can be very useful. But in general, though, whenever you bring him out into the field, he gives the party 30% attack up, overflow, brave gained overflow, and then brave damage dealt overflow, which helps counter up against the brave reduction that these bosses are doing, which is why I chose him for my number 3, because of all of the effects that he's able to bring to the party to try to dish out some type of damage from the attacks.
Definitely, and look at that. That's loaded offensive-wise, and not to mention when he actually comes out and does this attack as a call, he has that gravity effect, which is what Bart's is known for, which is super strong. And look at that attack up, brave damage dealt, stolen brave overflow. So this is one that you guys might want to keep under your radar as an LD. You might want to consider picking up, not just as a party member, but also if you want to use it as a call, because it's very good from an offensive approach. So my number 3 is actually what your number 5 was. It's Rosa, LD call. But I put her at number 3 because I do like all the effects that she has that is granted to the party, which is the HP damage up, brave damage up, and stolen brave overflow up. Not to mention that this LD does a good amount of damage, and she's also going to be healing your party's HP. So I know we covered this one already, Lost, but this one is actually my number 3, which is Rosa's.
Is it because of an alternate costume?
It is. I mean, on that slide that I created, I put her alternate costume, which she has those creepy vampire. No, actually, no, wait. It's not. It's her shotgun gun. Rosa is activating a shotgun gun. It totally is, right?
Well, we don't launch you then.
Exactly. All right, so we're moving to our number 2. Simply, who's your number 2? I'm curious to know.
Oh man! So from what I've heard from the stories from the lands of Opera I have heard many stories that there was this big content creator that loves this character so much from the beginning that I first discovered his YouTube channel, man. And it's gonna be Shantao. Shantao with her LD call. So Shantao, as many of you guys already know, I mean, her LD effect is very good. The biggest thing is that defense and the paralysis. Now, on the screen, you might see the defense 50%, but that's incorrect. It is a full 100% defense down on the enemies, and then, of course, paralysis, which makes them unable to do anything. Now, you can easily take advantage of that because it is a frame debuff, so you know that the bosses won't cleanse unless they actually decide to cleanse frame debuffs. You can easily take advantage of that by like delaying them. You can try pushing them back. You could do basically whatever to try to extend that longevity, because it is a one-turn debuff, but it's still a very highly used one, especially on the JP side right now, when going up against these enemies that, you know, especially as of recent, that love to jump the gun and want to automatically attack you out of nowhere. Shantao's LD call and her frame debuff really does come in clutch.
Oh man, I'm so happy you put her as your number 2. That LD call, I mean, the LD alone, we already knew that that effect was pretty strong. I mean, a frame debuff that has paralysis and defense down rolled into 1 is quite strong, but now having it accessible as a call where you can actually apply it in a strategic manner, for example, like you mentioned, you apply that, they get the paralysis, they get the defense down, and then use any kind of like turn manipulation, whether it be delay, deletion, or constant jumping in front of the enemy's turn, just to take advantage of that defense drop and the fact that they can't move, because in the event that they decide to act, well, guess what? You're not going to be able to do anything because your turn is disabled, provided that they don't cleanse frame debuff. So that's a very good choice for your number 2 there, which, talking about turn disablement, my number 2 is actually going to be Edward's LD call. So I really like this one because, first of all, he's going to be using his LD skill, which is Lullaby, and when he does get access to his call, he's actually going to be dealing HP damage as well with Lullaby. So no longer does it just not do damage, it actually does damage. And then what he does is he sets all targets brave to 0 unless they're already broken. That's very useful because if they have a huge amount of brave, you could just drop this call, reduce it to 0, so then the rest of your party can take advantage of being able to break them right away. He's also going to be healing the party's brave based on max brave, and then he's going to be inflicting that really powerful sleep debuff on all targets for 4 turns, which is turn disablement. Although it does have that, negative effect where if you damage them, it does decrease the turn duration. But remember, when it does expire, it still delays them by a turn. So you get a lot of benefits from that from an offensive approach. You're disabling their turns. If you happen to, wear out the expiration on the sleep debuff, they are going to be set back a turn. So this is why I chose Edward's LD as my number 2. Thoughts on this one, Lost?
You know what? I'll be honest. I didn't really know that he had all of that into his kit. So to show that there is so much built into Edward's LD card, it throws the options out there for bosses later on in the future who either like to jump the gun, who gain a bunch of brave after they attack you, or if it's their turn, all of a sudden they gain a whole bunch of brave. There's many options for Edward to be used, so it's actually a pretty good LD call.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's also FF4. Like, I had to put it there. For sure. All right, guys. So we are now down to our number 1 picks for our top 5 LD calls. Simply, who is your number 1 pick?
All right, so I have never played this Final Fantasy before, and this was a unit that I actually did not care about for the longest time until she got her LD call, and how powerful she became and how useful she has become now with Lufenia plus fights, and it's going to be Ferris. Ferris with her LD call. There is so much into this LD call that she does, and she really does come in clutch just using her as an LD call. So it's all frame debuffs is what she provides, and she reduces the enemy's brave by 100% after they make a move. Water, wind, thunder resist down, brave damage dealt an increase of 20%, 30% max brave down, 70% attack down, 70% defense down, and then brave poison based off of 80% of initial brave. What more can you ask for in an LD call than all of those to be able to just basically make the enemy much weaker with one LD call? And the thing is, though, those buffs last for about 3 or 4 turns, so you can easily take advantage of it. And here's the thing, though. Here's the one thing that tops it off with Ferris's LD call is all of those frame buffs. Even after you use her frame debuff and the enemy gets rid of those debuffs, you can still use her regular call, and you're getting pretty much all of that except for the first line, which was reducing the brave of the enemies by 100%. So it's still a very good LD call, one that, again, I never expected myself to be using so much, but after I finally managed to snag her LD, no regrets. Like, she is one of my top LD calls to be using right now.
You know what, Lost? I just learned something new. I didn't know that the attack down and defense down were that high. 70%? That's huge.
Yeah.
This surprised me. Because I did not. I have Ferris's LD, but I didn't use the call nearly as often. And now I may want to consider using this a little bit more on my JP account. That's really strong. I can see why you picked her as your number one, especially like you said, with all the brave damage reduction, brave gain reduction, all the craziness that we're seeing, especially right now on JP with Lufenia Plus. This is powerful. This is insanely powerful. So this is I can see why again you picked this as your number one. That is a loaded LD call for from a debuff perspective and just what it does to just really hamper the enemy target's performance from being able to take you out. So good choice on that one, Simply. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so my number one is actually a very recent character. I only played this Final Fantasy once, and I only beat it once. I never played again, although I might go back to it. But it's going to be Sid Reigns' LD Call, who again is a very recent character, had a lot of hype behind him because his showcase, he looked really broken. But this is what his LD Call allows you to do. So if you use this, he's going to use his Heavenly Fist. And the highlight of this LD Call is, first of all, it heals all allies brave by the HP damage dealt. It has turn manipulation because it allows you to choose, the next turn order for your allies, so then they get to take their turns immediately after. And then because Sid Reigns as a call is initiating the launch, he's also going to be triggering his impact strike, or the plus variant of it. And what that is it's the additional brave and HP damage that he deals during a launch if Sid Reigns is the one initiating the launch. And because he is through a call, you're going to get that from it. And then what this does is it grants the caller the ability to initiate chase upon attacking. And I was testing this out actually on the most recent Lufenia Plus with Lon and Rain, because I gave Lon and Rain the Sid Reigns LD call, and my goodness, is this thing really, really powerful, because I bursted and I had this effect on the entire burst, the entire burst phase. So, I was able to launch those stupid annoying mannequins for the recent Lufenia Plus. And remember, any character that has this equipped can take advantage of this particular effect for that caller. So I was like, wow, this is insane. I'm just able to initiate a call just like that from using this. And then the other effect that it has, which is amazing, is it grants the entire party a 20% HP damage increase on a chase. So you pretty much get, the similar effect as, like, for example, like having Kais on the party or having, the Pandemonium summon. So this one for me, I had to put this on number one because I personally love using launch comps, and having this as a call, allows me to kind of tap into that, that launch, mechanic, and, dish out as much damage as possible in one turn. So I don't know if you've used this one yet, Lost, but what do you think about this one?
Man, I've used his LD call and himself so many times. If you want to be a bully in Lufenia fights, he is the man to bring because he is extremely good. And when you just told me that you used him with the twins, I was like, 40, how dare you? You're such a bully.
Evil.
No, but in general though, like his LD call is stupid good. Like when everybody saw the showcase, everybody was like, oh my god, like what is this? But just having him as an LD call and being able to take advantage of that, especially doing the burst effect, oh my god, you're just asking for you're just asking for so much, and you can get it all in this call. Like this man is busted. He still is busted. I don't care what anybody says. He is a launch king, and I can definitely see why he was definitely your top one.
Yeah, for sure. I had to. I mean, after I saw the effects and I was using it quite a bit, I was like, yeah, this has to be my number one because it's just so good. But yeah, I guess this is going to conclude our top 5 list. Simply, any last words for our viewers?
Yeah, again, we just want to make sure that everybody understands that this is not like, oh, this is for sure going to be like our top 5 like LD choices and everything like that, because our choices always mixed up. They're always going to be different, but this is kind of like the ones that you'll probably see us use from here and there or a lot, et cetera, et cetera. But this is what is going on as of right now in the JP side, and obviously there will be some more powerful LD calls later on in the future. We might do another one of these just to update everybody and be like, hey, look, this is what we got going on right now. 40 might still be using Sid Reigns. He might just he might just bump it up to maybe a top 2, but I don't know. This is gonna be one hell of an LD call for to be topping off Sid Reigns, isn't it? It's a devil call. No,
For
but in general though, it's you know, this is all opinionated. You know, just like everybody who is watching this can say the same, that, you know, whether you agree or not, this is all just opinionated, and this is what we typically use for in the JP side at least.
Absolutely. Yeah, guys. So, you know, take our opinions for what they are. If it helps you guys out, great. That's our every intention whenever we make these video guides or these collaborations for you guys, because we love this community. We just want you guys to have the best experience possible, whether it be on the JP side or on the global side. But we also encourage you guys to do your own research too, which is why we constantly share those useful links such as the Dissidia DB, Tonberry Troop, you know, the Dissidia Info, all those fantastic resources out there, and also all the rest of the other content creators, you know, who also throw their hat in on trying to help out the community just to step up their game and be able to tackle some of these difficult fights. So, you know, again, do your own research, but thank you guys again, you know, for showing us all the love. Thank you again to Simply Lost for joining me on this collaboration video. Again, don't forget to check out his YouTube channel and also his Twitch channel. Amazing guy, really, really fun to talk to, really fun to work with, and we'll be looking forward to hopefully more collaborations like this, right, Lost?
Oh yeah.
More spicy collaborations.
More delicious spicy collabs.
Totally, guys. But yeah, thank you guys again for watching. Thank you for the love. We will see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.